for this log, it would be an elevated button widget. Here in our main.r file, we clean up our code, then we set our debug show check mode banner to false, then our title would be an elevated button widget. Then we create a stateful widget, name my widget, and replace the container with a scaffold with the title of elevated button widget. Then we set that to our home as our home. Then for the body, we have a center widget with a child of column. Then we set our main as alignment to center. So here in the child, we will have a plain or normal elevated button widget. So to create an elevated button widget, just type elevated button widget, and it will have a uh, required constructor, which is the on press and a child. So for the child, we will have a cons text widget with a value of elevated button. So yeah, that's how you create a normal elevated button. Then we were going to create a spacer. It is a const size box widget with a height of 30. Then now we're going to customize our uh, uh, button style of elevated button widget. So for that, we're going to copy our normal elevated button, then save that. Now we're going to um, have our button style widget. Now we will have our button style class. Now to access to style that, we will we're going to change the background color, and we will have our material state property all, and it would be a color, and that it would be color, then the value of the color. So as you can see, it changed the color by accessing or by calling or by using the material state property all to change the value of the button style. Now we're going to change the foreground color, which is the font style. I know the font color. So now we have a material style, state property all, then color, then we change the value. Now we save that. As you can see, we change the color, and then next we will going to change the shape of our button. So here we're going to have a material state property all, and then we will have an outline border. Inside the value would be rounded rectangle border, and we're going to change the border radius to circular 20. So we're going to remove the const here, and then we will supply the const in the background color and the foreground color. Save that. As you can see, our button is changed the border. Now we're going to change the size. It would be a fixed size. Then via material state property, we will have a size. Then the value of our size would be 150 and 40 for the height. So the width is 150 and the height would be 40. So save that. Now that's how we customize our button style with the background for foreground color, shape, and fixed size via material state property all. Now, as you can see here at the button style, if you hover it, you can see all the properties that we can actually override or change. So here we're going to have now let's now copy the spacer first, then paste that, then here. Now here we're going to customize again our uh, elevated button uh, with elevated button, no, elevated button dot style from style from function. Not function, it's a method. So the style from method have the ability to uh, directly have to ability to the uh, override the style directly. So for now, we're going to have an elevated button, and we supply our on press and child with a cons text widget now with the value of elevated button. Then we're going to save that. So here we will have a style, and then we were going to supply it with a button, elevated button that style from method. Then we'll now we are going to change the background color with a color that gray for ground color, for a colors that white, shaped to rounded rectangular border with a radius no, with a border radius to circular with a value of 20. Then we set the size of our button to 150 and with a width of 150 and height of 140 40. So as you can see, we have our elevated button here. So we don't need to explicitly or invoke or call the material state property just to change the value of our style. Now we change our background, foreground, and shape and fix size. Now here we're going to copy the spacer, and then we're going to copy the plain uh, elevated button. Now here this will going to have a uh, other way. This is another way to customize the elevated button. First, we're going to create a clip r clip r rect to enable or to access the border radius, so or to change it. So let's have a clip r rect widget. Now change the border radius to circular 20, and then we will have a child of stock widget with a child. So the clip r rect will have a child of stock widget. So the stock widget will have a children of container widget and the elevated button widget as well. So we're going to wrap our container with position widget. Then we're going to set that we're going to fill the container from the position of our stock. And then what else? So we're going to, yeah, we're going to have a decoration here, and we supply a decoration, a box decoration, and we're going to change the border, border radius, no, the border radius to circular 20, no, this would be, no, this would be a border radius, and we will have a box shadow with icons of list, box shadow, a list of box shadow, but we just have one box shadow here. Then we will supply the color to the purple accent, and then the blur radius would be 20, and then the spread radius would be -5. No, save that. Nothing's happened because, yeah, because the elevated button has the style, the background style is blue. So the since the container is on the back, that's why it's hidden. It can't be displayed. So if we're going to set our style background color to transparent, we can see the uh, container, the styled container. So if we're going to set the shadow color to transparent as well, as you can see, and the elevation to 0, now we can actually clear those things. I mean, we can see it clearly. So here, what else we're going to do? Yeah, we're going to supply our gradient. So it will be const linear gradient, and we're going to supply the color, uh, 3 different kind of colors. So first, we will have a colors that, what else? What would be the color? It would be blue, blue accent. Then it would be red accent as well, and then next would be the green accent. So save that. As you can see, we change the color, is a gradient in a linear way, but we're going to change the beginning, the alignment to top left. Then the end would be alignment dot button right. Yeah, as you can see, it's like slanting. Yeah, create a slanting, yeah, position, slanting position. So we're going to change the color of our font here. We can actually direct change the color in the text widget. So as you can see, we change our text color here, or the font color, text color, yeah. So we're going to wrap the text widget with no, the elevated button with the padding with a symmetry of horizontal 15 and vertical to 5. So as you can see here, you can't click, but the button can click. At the top, we can click everything, however, because the padding widget is added. So we're going to remove that, and we're going to fix that. So to solve that, we're going to have a fixed size here, and we were going to supply the size, the right size, which is with a width of 150 and the height of 40. So as the edge is now clickable. Now everything's okay. So yes. So here we have created a clip art rect widget and changed the border radius. And then we have a child of stock widget. Then we have a container and an elevated button. And then we wrapped our container with a position to fill everything. And we have a box shadow, and then a gradient, and we have our elevated button. If we're going to comment out our style, as you can see, now you can't see the how you call this, the container, the styled container, because it is on the back of the button widget. So now if we are going to uncomment it, you can see now, because we actually override the default style of the elevated button. So what you can see here, I think we're done with different type of styling that you can do. In the top, we have a plain or the normal elevated button widget. And then we have our style here that we actually access through material state property all. Now in this customized but elevated button, we access the styling with style from method. So we can actually style it directly. We don't need to invoke or call the material state property just to change the value. So here, in another way to customize our button is to create a series or create our style for our elevated button. So that's all. Thank you. That's all. Thank you for watching.